Anti-Qing sentiment refers to a sentiment principally held in China against the Manchu ruling during the Qing dynasty, which was accused by a number of opponents of being barbarian. The king was accused of destroying traditional Han culture by forcing Han to wear their hair in a queue in the Manchu style. It was blamed for suppressing Chinese science, causing China to be transformed from the world's premier power to a poor, backwards nation. The people of the banners lived off government pensions unlike the general Han civilian population. The rallying slogan of anti-Qing activists was Fan King Fu Ming. In the broadest sense, an anti-Qing activist was anyone who engaged in anti-Manchu direct action. This included people from many mainstream political movements and uprisings, such as Taiping Rebellion, the Xinhai Revolution, the Revolt of the Three Feudatories, the Revived China Society, the Tongmenghui, the Panthay Rebellion, White Lotus Rebellion, and others. Ming loyalism in the early Qing dynasty. Muslim Ming loyalists. Hui Muslim Ming loyalists under Milayan and Ding Wudong fought against the king to restore a Ming prince to the throne from 1646 to 1650. When the Qing dynasty invaded the Ming dynasty in 1644, Muslim Ming loyalists in Gansu led by Muslim leaders Milayan and Ding Wudong led a revolt in 1646 against the king during the Milayan Rebellion in order to drive the king out and restore the Ming prince of Yanchangzhou Sichuan to the throne as the emperor. The Muslim Ming loyalists were supported by Hamiz Sultan Said Babur and his son Prince Tarimte. The Muslim Ming loyalists were joined by Tibetans and Han Chinese in the revolt. After fierce fighting and negotiations, a peace agreement was agreed on in 1649, and Milayan and Ding nominally pledged allegiance to the king and were given ranks as members of the Qing military. When other Ming loyalists in southern China made a resurgence and the king were forced to withdraw the forces from Gansu to fight them, Milayan and Ding once again took up arms and rebelled against the king. The Muslim Ming loyalists were then crushed by the king with 100,000 of them, including Milayan, Ding Wudong, and Tarimte killed in battle. The Confucian Hui Muslim scholar Ma Zhou served with the southern Ming loyalists against the king. In Guangzhou, the national monuments known as the Muslims' Loyal Trio are the tombs of Ming loyalist Muslims who were martyred while fighting in battle against the king in the Manchu conquest of China and Guangzhou. Koxinga, the Ming loyalist general Zhang Chenggong, better known by his title Koxinga, led a military movement to oppose the Qing dynasty from 1646 to 1662. Joseon Korea was a tributary state of Ming China and was grateful for Ming assistance during the recent Japanese invasions of Korea. This put Joseon in a dilemma when both Nurhaci and the Ming requested support. King Guanghagan tried to maintain neutrality, but most of his officials opposed him for not supporting the Ming, which had saved Joseon during Hideyoshi's invasions. In 1623 King Guanghagan was deposed and replaced by King Inzhou, who banished Guanghajan's supporters. Reverting his predecessor's foreign policy, the new king decided to support the Ming openly, but a rebellion led by military commander Yi Gwal erupted in 1624 and wrecked Joseon's military defenses in the north. Even after the rebellion had been suppressed, King Inzhou had to devote military forces to ensure the stability of the capital, leaving fewer soldiers to defend the northern borders. The Manchus invaded Korea twice, in 1627 and 1636, eventually forcing Joseon to sever its ties with the Ming and instead to become a tributary of the Manchus. However, there remained popular opposition to the Manchus in Korea. Joseon continued to use the Ming calendar rather than the Qing calendar, and Koreans continued to wear Ming-style clothing and hairstyles, rather than the Manchu queue. After the fall of the Ming dynasty, Joseon Koreans saw themselves as continuing the traditions of Neo-Confucianism. Anti-Qing rebellions. Mongol rebellions. The Mongols under Qing rule were divided into three primary groups: the Inner Mongols, the Outer Kharkh Mongols, and the Eastern Oirat Mongols. The Inner Mongolian Chafar Khan Ligdan Khan, a descendant of Genghis Khan, opposed and fought against the king until he died of smallpox in 1634. Thereafter, the Inner Mongols under his son Ajay Khan surrendered to the king in 1636 and was given the title of prince, and Inner Mongolian nobility became closely tied to the Qing royal family and intermarried with them extensively. Ajay Khan died in 1661 and was succeeded by his brother Abunai. After Abunai showed disaffection with Manchu Qing rule, he was placed under house arrest in 1669 in Shenyang, and the Kangxi emperor gave his title to his son Borni. Abunai then bid his time, and then he and his brother Lubzong revolted against the king in 1675 during the Revolt of the Three Feudatories, with 3,000 Chafar Mongol followers joining in on the revolt. The king then crushed the rebels in a battle on April 20, 1675, killing Abunai and all his followers. Their title was abolished. All Chafar Mongol royal males were executed even if they were born to Manchu king princesses, and all Chafar Mongol royal females were sold into slavery except the Manchu king princesses. The Chafar Mongols were then put under the direct control of the king emperor, unlike the other Inner Mongol leagues which maintained their autonomy. The Kharkh Mongols were more reluctant to come under king rule, only submitting to the Kangxi emperor after they came under an invasion from the Oirat Mongol Dzunga Khanate under its leader Gildan. The Oirat Koshut Upper Mongols in Qinghai rebelled against the king during the reign of the Yongzheng emperor but were crushed and defeated. The Oirat Mongol Dzungas in the Dzunga Khanate offered outright resistance and war against the king for decades until their king annihilated the Dzungas in the Dzunga genocide. Kharkh Mongol rebels under Prince Chinganjav had plotted with the Dzunga leader Amorsana and led a rebellion against the king at the same time as the Dzungas. The king crushed the rebellion and executed Chinganjav and his entire family. During the Xinhai Revolution, the Outer Kharkh Mongols staged an uprising against the king and expelled the Manchu Ambans. Tibetan rebellions. Tibetan Buddhist lamas rebelled against the king at Batang during the 1905 Tibetan rebellion, assassinating the Manchu leader Feng Quan, and also killing French Catholic missionaries and Tibetan converts to Catholicism. Hongzhi Quan was a Hakka Chinese who was the leader of the Taiping Rebellion against the Qing dynasty. He proclaimed himself to be the heavenly king and called Jesus Christ his brother. Du Wangxiu. The Panthay Rebellion leader Du Wangxiu declared his intention of overthrowing the king and driving the Mancos out of China. The rebellion started after massacres of Hui perpetrated by the Manchu authorities. Du used anti-Manchu rhetoric in his rebellion against the king, calling for Han to join the Hui to overthrow the Manchu king after 200 years of the rule. Du invited the fellow Hui Muslim leader Ma Rulong to join him in driving the Manchu king out and recover China. For his war against Manchu oppression, Du became a Muslim hero, while Ma Rulong defected to the king. On multiple occasions Kunming was attacked and sacked by Du Wangxiu's forces. His capital was Dali. The revolt ended in 1873. Du Wangxiu is regarded as a hero by the present-day government of China. Late Qing revolutionaries. Sun Yat-sen Zhou, born in Sichuan province in West China in 1885 to a merchant family. Zhou received a classical education but refused to sit for the civil service exams. He worked as a seal carver while pursuing classical studies. He gradually became interested in Western ideas and went to Japan to study in 1901, where he was exposed to radical revolutionary and anti-Manchu ideas. Here are some quotations of Zerong. Sweep away millennia of despotism in all its forms, throw off millennia of slavishness, annihilate the 5 million and more of the furry and horned Manchu race, cleanse ourselves of 260 years of harsh and unremitting pain. I do not begrudge repeating over and over again that internally we are slaves of the Manchus and suffering from the tyranny. Externally we are being harassed by the powers, and we are doubly enslaved. Kill the emperor set up by the Manchus as a warning to the myriad generations that despotic government is not to be revived. Settle the name of the country as the Republic of China. Overthrow of the king. The Xinhai Revolution of 1911 saw attacks and massacres on Manchu banner garrisons in cities throughout China.